Hi everyone, my name is Colleen Ward and I am the chair of the JCPenney Leadership Program, and this is your Prospective Associate session. So due to COVID-19, obviously we aren't able to have our usual information session on campus in person during the spring semester. So we're moving everything online, so you can just watch this video, everyone is receiving the same content, and then you can start filling out your application to become a member of the JCPenney Leadership Program. Obviously, our thoughts are out with everyone, and we hope that everyone is staying home, staying safe, and getting through this difficult time. So I'm going to share my screen with you now, and we'll get started. All right, so hopefully you are seeing my screen the same as I am. Please bear with me a little bit. I don't typically do recordings like this, but we're sticking together, everyone. So here we go. Okay, so during today, we are going to talk about some general information about the program, our leadership program pillars, the application process overview, the fall 2020 new member requirements, an associate panel where you get to hear from some of our current associates about their experiences in JCPenney, and then we'll answer some frequently asked questions that you might have going through this process. So first, I'm going to introduce you to our JCPenney Leadership Center staff. First, we have our director, Bria Clark. She is also the mayor of Norman, so most likely you've heard about her, especially in recent times. She is a rock star and makes sure that our program runs smoothly and really advocates for us in the business world, making sure we have incredible content and yeah, so that's Bria. And then we have Malia. So Malia Alderman is our office manager. She's always going to be in the office and they're smiling, maybe a little sass, but she's fantastic. Any questions you might have, she is the person to go to. She is still currently my person to go to. So she can help you and will make sure that JCPenney keeps on running, even in a quarantine. So. All right, so our current membership profile, we are really proud of the diversity that we have in our program. Every major is represented. The average GPA for fall 2020 is 3.78. We do have a 3.25 GPA minimum in order to apply for the program. So as you can see though, most of our members exceed that number, and we're really proud of that fact as well. Our job/grad school placement is 100% from our last semester of graduating seniors, and the average reported salary of them is $67,170. So we're really proud of our graduates. That 100% placement rate is an incredible fact, and we're really, really proud, and we like to showcase that, especially to businesses that are coming in. People want to hire from JCPenney, and that's really important. We have 23 languages spoken in our program. We also have more countries represented than states in our program. So we have 17 countries and 9 states represented. We also have 20 first-generation college students, and it's different every year, but we have 59% women and 41% men currently. It really just depends on the breakdown of the applicant pool and who is really a shining star and we want to bring into the program. All right, so now we are going to talk about our JCPenney Leadership Program pillars. The first pillar that we're going to talk about is professionalism. And when we talk about professionalism, we really like to highlight the corporate visits that we take once or twice a year. So this picture here is from our corporate visit to Houston this past fall. We were able to go to a Texans game, we went to ExxonMobil, we went to Deloitte, but also something that was really cool is on our way down, we hit the JCPenney headquarters, and we're able to give them a presentation about what our program is all about and ways that they can connect with us in the future. So that was a really cool opportunity for our members, as well as all of the opportunities within that corporate visit. We've gone to places such as Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Dallas, trying to pick a different city every time and seeing some different range of organizations there when we're there. Another thing we also like to highlight is our C-Suite for a Day. So this is a new program that we started last year, but it gives JCPenney members the ability to shadow a C-Suite executive for a whole day. So we have people from companies. We have them in OKC, Wichita, Kansas, Dallas, Tulsa as well. And these executives have allowed to give up their time and let a JCP associate shadow them for the day and really learn about what it's like to be an executive at a company like that. So that is something that's really cool and very unique to the JCPenney Leadership Program. All right. I'm going to try to go to the next slide. Next, we have networking. So this is really important to do well in the business world. I personally am from Chicago, so I didn't have any sort of network here in Oklahoma or in Texas, the surrounding areas. So I really had to create that network on my own. And before I was in the JCPenney Leadership Program, this seemed like a very daunting task. But the JCPenney Leadership Program makes it very easy to network with professionals, alumni, people who really can make a difference in your career. So a lot of people will say that they got their internships or their full-time jobs out of opportunities that they had in the JCPenney Leadership Program. So this picture is from an alumni networking lunch. It was from 2017, but we have many opportunities such as this on a regular basis. So we have lunch and learns, which is during, it's usually Tuesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, during a lunch hour, and a company or a business person will come and talk about a topic in business, or maybe give a little bit more about their company, just if we haven't heard much about them. So we've had people like Bain, we've had Target, we've had Walmart, companies all over the place, accounting, Big Four, and whatever you'd like to see. And we're really big on bringing those people that you want to see and bring them there. We also have Dine and Learns, which is an opportunity to have a meal around dinner time. So this is, working on your etiquette in business settings. And it's usually a little bit more intimate than the lunch and learn setting as well. We also have the Alumni Career Conference, which allows alumni from the program to come back and give back to the program. So they talk about their experiences, how they got where they are. This year, our Alumni Career Conference had to be canceled in person, but we've actually rescheduled it to be cyber over Zoom. So we're still trudging along, and no matter what, the JCPenney Leadership Program is staying strong. So that is networking, and it's really important to just build those networks. The next pillar is scholarship. So this picture is from the Costa Rica trip that our JCPenney members took in January of 2020. So as a JCPenney Leadership associate, you are required to take the Management 32-33 leadership class. And so you can take it in one of two ways. You can either take it on Norman's campus for a full semester, and that'd be taught by Bria, and she brings in lots of really interesting people. I know she just had President Harris and Barry Switzer's come in, and also entrepreneurs that are local. People have been Skyping in. It's been a really cool experience for the people that are in that class. And the other option you can do is to take a study abroad course in Costa Rica. So I actually went my sophomore year during the spring break. They switch when the trip is, depending on the interest of the cohort. So they took it this year over winter break. They went to San Jose. They went to a coffee plantation, really cool opportunities. I also went to Panama this year, so they got to go to the Panama Canal and see what Panama is like. So it's a really great experience. That was one of my favorite experiences in the JCPenney Leadership Program. It allowed me to get really close with my cohort, as well as people in the cohorts above me, getting to spend that time and really learn about business in international settings. So seeing how, a company in Costa Rica is using green initiatives and comparing that to what we see in America. And it was a really cool opportunity. We also do have a 3.25 minimum GPA, which I have mentioned, in order to join the program. And that's just another reason to showcase that it is really important that we are students first and that we are continuously learning. The next pillar that we have is philanthropy. So this picture is from Extravaganza in 2017. we have this event every single year. This year it had been canceled due to COVID-19, but I know our associates absolutely love this event. Something that we have been pushing for is that our boards, that we have some members sitting on the board fellows in Norman. So companies or nonprofits like Meals on Wheels, Big Brothers Big Sisters. We've been trying to coordinate philanthropic events with our boards that we are sitting on. So we've had a lot of really cool philanthropy events, things like the Valentine's Day dance at the Senior Center. We do a lot of drives for different things, but it's important that we're giving back to our community and really showcasing that, we're a part of a world that's a lot bigger than ourselves, which has been really clear during this time period as well. The next pillar that we have is fellowship. So this picture is from the tennis lessons that we hosted in the fall. So fellowship is really just about, coming together and meeting people with the same interests as you, as well as people of very different backgrounds. So we have such a diverse group of people, and getting to bring everyone together, not just for business purposes, but, to create fellowship and have a network here just as students. So we do things such as tennis lessons, golf lessons, we've done kickboxing. We also have, a couple social events. We've done Friendsgiving. We did a kind of potluck dinner, a barbecue, things like that to just get everyone together. We also have done, rollerblading and an escape room, just anything that, the people will want. So our associates are able to tell us, what they kind of want to see out of the program, and we're really trying to be as receptive as possible to get them the experiences out of the program that they want. I actually took a golf lesson this past year, and it was incredible, and I highly recommend it because I used to be terrible and now I'm a lot better. So we really like to take advantage of these opportunities to not only do you get closer with your friends, but you can learn new skills. And another pillar is diversity. So this is really important. As you can see from our membership profile, we have people from all over the world, all different backgrounds. And we really like to highlight this in our program because people might not think of Oklahoma as a very diverse place, but the Price College of Business has such a wealth of diversity. And we are able to learn from each other and create new fantastic experiences. So this picture is from International Friendsgiving, which we had this fall. I had the privilege of going to it, and it was a really great experience. Everyone brought a meal from their home that was really special to them, and then we went around the room and kind of described why this was special and important to us. We also did have a full Thanksgiving dinner, which was fantastic, but my favorite part was eating the foods from all across the world. We also have the opportunity to highlight our diversity through things called diversity panels. So this is something that we've done a couple times at our organization meetings, which are once a month. And this last one we did was a religious diversity panel. So we had people representing all different types of religions, and we had them, explain to us in a very safe environment about, what it means to be a part of their religion, why they chose to do it and continue to participate in their religion, what their core beliefs are, some stigmas that their religion might have. And it was a really cool learning experience to hear from people and hear their perspective. And I know everyone was really excited about that. And that is our diversity pillar. So those are all of our pillars. Now we're going to move on to the application process. So this is where you need to listen up. So applications are due Wednesday, September 9th by noon. The applications will be submitted online. So you'll go through, the link is on the JCPenney Leadership website. If you can't find that, go through the OU Price website and it'll be on there, or you can just Google it. We also are on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. All of those will have the links to our application so that you are able to find us and make sure that you get your application in on time. We do recommend that you review the essay questions posted on the website prior to starting the application. We've had people in the past that have been writing their application out, and then the website would shut down on them and they lose all of their hard work. So we really recommend working on those essays perhaps on a Word document first and then copying it over to the application, just so you don't lose out on any of your hard work. In order to apply, you must have 2 recommendation letters. So these recommendation letters must be submitted by the time the application closes. So if you submit your application as soon as they open, so say it's, April 15th and you've already sent in your application, you have up until Wednesday, September 9th to turn in your recommendation letters. If your recommendation letters are not in at that time, your application will not be considered to join the JCPenney Leadership Program. So please make sure to get those 2 recommendation letters in by September 9th at noon as well. So once you've applied and you've gone through all of that, we will be selecting people for interviews. And if you are selected for an interview, you will be notified by email and will sign up for an interview slot in the JCPenney office. So that interview, we have the interview dates on a later slide, but that is a 3-on-1 interview typically. So it'll be a faculty member, a current associate, or someone on the leadership team of JCPenney Leadership, as well as Bria. Malia sometimes comes in there as well, but that is the application process, and that interview you'll go through. It'll be business professional, and it's a really cool experience to just tell us a little bit more about yourselves. But please be thoughtful in your application and take the time to really fill that out and make sure it is nice and comprehensive and puts your best foot forward. So if you become a new candidate associate of the JCPenney Leadership Program, here are some of the things that will be required of you. First is new associate kickoff, which will be Friday, October 2nd from 4 to 8 p.m. This is your opportunity to, get into the program. It's before anything else happens, to celebrate you and say, congrats, you're finally a part of the JCPenney Leadership Program. Next, we will have virtual interviews with JCPenney alumni. So this is just another opportunity to make sure that you're getting into the program, reaching out, having contact with our alumni, and just really getting that interview experience. That's really important. We also have monthly organization meetings. So these will be the ones that you are required to attend are in October and November, and they're either on a Wednesday or a Thursday. The times and exact dates will be sent out TBD, but the new associates will be required to arrive 30 minutes early to participate in their mentor sessions. And I'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like in a little bit. You are also required to do the Price College Day of Service in the fall, which the date of that is also to be determined. And then new associate induction will be in the spring semester. So that's usually the first or second week that we get back from school. So those are the required events that you have to take part in. But now we're going to talk about your physical requirements. So what it looks like to be a candidate associate in the JCPenney Leadership Program. So you're in the program, you've already done this, and then you'll get placed into what we call mentor groups. So in these mentor groups, you'll have a peer trainer, which we'll talk about a little bit later, peer trainer, an SAB member, so that's the board, the student advisory board that I'm the chair of, and then a board fellow. So these 3 current JCPenney associates will be in charge of kind of facilitating your mentor group, making sure that you have a link to the program right away and are getting to know, yes, people in your cohort that also joined at the same time, but also having some older associates to get you really acclimated into how it works. We also have some new member education that we like to do. So you will be required to go to one of these sessions. We'll send out all the times and it'll be easy for you to attend them. We're also very accommodating if none of them match up with your schedule to make up a session as well. But we have program expectations, which just is what the program expects of you, your tenure requirements, what you need to accomplish by the time you graduate, and that is just really spelled out for you black and white at the program expectations meeting. Then you'll have personal branding and creating an effective LinkedIn profile, pretty self-explanatory, understanding your strengths. So we'll do the strength finder and learn how to utilize your strengths in those settings. Then we have business correspondence, which you'll make a thank you note and a cover letter, all the items that you'll need to have, effective correspondence in the business world. Then you'll have keys to effective interviewing and me-speech. So we'll do some interviewing practice, talking about, your elevator pitch of yourself, how to really put your best foot forward. Then we'll develop your leadership philosophy and your professional values, what it means to you to be a business leader, and how you want to frame your entire lifestyle around that. And then the last but not least, we have Think Tank, which is just an opportunity to talk about some issues that are going on in the world and how we can combat them and use some critical thinking. So that's a really cool opportunity. I know our associates have really liked that in the past. And then after you go through all of these sessions, you'll have some deliverables that will need to be turned in by the end of the semester. And that will be your completed LinkedIn profile. So you'll turn in the link, an updated and complete resume. So you'll be required to get your resume critiqued. I personally recommend getting your resume critiqued before you apply. And that'll give you just a little leg up to make sure that your resume is looking good for when you're applying to the program. You'll have a cover letter template, a thank you note template, as well as your written personal philosophy of leadership. So you'll do all of this, and then in your mentor groups, you will also be creating a presentation based on a philanthropy, a nonprofit board, and you'll be required to volunteer with those boards, and then talk about your experiences and what those boards do here in Norman, Oklahoma. So in our program, once you're a part of it, you have the opportunity to join the leadership team. So we have a lot of leadership opportunities within the program, and so we're going to highlight them now and tell you a little bit more about them. So first, you have the Board Fellows program, which I've talked a little bit about previously, but the Board Fellows is the opportunity for JCPenney associates to serve on the board of a nonprofit here in Norman. So we have, I believe it's 13 boards that we are currently sitting on, such as Meals on Wheels, Big Brothers Big Sisters, infant crisis services, a lot of organizations that are fantastic like that. And a member will go and sit on that board and be able to further the goals of that board, give them a perspective of a student, which they might not always have, how to get OU campus more involved. And we have had really fantastic feedback from all of our boards about how the JCPenney Leadership Associates really do make a difference on these boards. So continuing those practices in the future. The board fellow also will be sitting on one of your mentor teams, and then you'll get to go and volunteer with that board with your board fellow. So just kind of connecting it with board fellows and philanthropy, and it's a really important process that we like to do. Next, we have our peer training team. So those are the specific peer trainers that are in charge of your mentor group. So these are the people that lead your sessions, your learning for new member education. So all of the, LinkedIn and cover letter stuff. I actually served as a peer trainer my junior year. And it was a really fantastic experience. You got to get to know the new cohort really early on, and gives you a lot of presentation experience, something that I really have benefited from in a lot of professional and personal ways. Then we have our student advisory board. So this is a board of the students to kind of oversee and make sure the whole program keeps running. So we have the chair of the board, which is me. My primary role is just making sure the program keeps running, planning our organizational meetings, making sure everyone on the board is able to accomplish their goals, as well as just kind of be the face of the JCPenney Leadership Program. Then we have Director of Programming and Recruitment. She plans all of our dine and learns, lunch and learns, all of our corporate partners who come and see us. She is responsible for planning all of that. Does a really fantastic job. Then we have Director of Philanthropy, so plans all of our philanthropy events. Director of Board Fellows, coordinates the Board Fellows. Director of Peer Trainers, coordinates the peer trainers. Director of Conferences, so we have 3 conferences, 2 in the fall and 1 in the spring. No, one in the fall and 2 in the spring. And so the director of conferences plans those conferences and gets all the panelists, and does a really fantastic job to make those really great experiences. Then we have the director of alumni relations. And so she is responsible for, connecting us with the alumni, making sure they're staying involved in the program, reaching out to them, and then ultimately planning the alumni career conference in the spring. And then last but not least, we have the directors of associate development. So they plan all of the fellowship events, making sure that everyone, is having a good time here in the JCPenney Leadership Program, because why would we do it if it wasn't fun? So that is our student advisory board. We make sure everything goes smoothly. Another opportunity you have is to study abroad. So you have the opportunity to study abroad in Costa Rica or Panama, which I talked a little bit about earlier. And this is just a really cool experience that you should take advantage of. Then we have our corporate visits, which I also talked about in the professionalism pillar. Just opportunities to, travel a little bit and see business a little bit more up close before we get into the business world. And then finally, we have the National Millennial Community. So we have 2 members of the JCPenney Leadership Program who are sitting, on the National Millennial Community. So they flew out to, I believe it was Canada for the first one. Not Canada. That doesn't make sense. They flew out, I don't remember where it was, and sat and went to this huge conference, and there were a lot of really interesting speakers, and then they'll video conference into the meetings over time every once in a while. So we have the opportunity to have some members be a part of that, and it's really cool. So if you're interested in any of these things, these are what could be in the future for you as a JCPenney Leadership Associate. So now we're going to answer some frequently asked questions that you might have during this whole application process, or what it might look like when you get in the program. So first, who should I have write my recommendation letters? So we recommend that if you are a sophomore, for your 2 recommendation letters, if it is at all possible, to have 2 Price faculty write your recommendation letters, just so we know who is communicating with us. However, as a sophomore, we say you can have one from high school if they can speak to your abilities better than someone at college. I know you've only been in for 1 year, but if you have been at OU for 3 years or two years, starting your 3rd year, you are required to have 2 Price faculty members write your recommendation letters. So just be aware of that, but really choose someone who can speak to your abilities. Don't try to choose someone who is the most prestigious person if they don't know you well. So it can be anyone from like a teacher to a boss that you've had, just someone who really can talk to your professional abilities as well as your personal character traits. The next question is, how can I best prepare for the application or interview? First, I would recommend getting your resume critiqued. That is an opportunity that we have in the Price College of Business to get those critiqued by Career Services. So please take that in, take the feedback, and update your resume. Then I would just really take time to answer those questions thoroughly. Read a book. I believe that's one of the questions. So make sure that you're not talking about something that you read 8 years ago. Make sure it's current. And then for the interview, you also can sign up for mock interviews, but really just be yourself. Put your best foot forward, and don't be too nervous. Ultimately, we're really there to find the best people, not to weed out the worst people. So our focus is more on, we want to really like you and we want to bring you into our program. That being said, we do take only about 50 to 60 candidate associates each year. So it is a competitive process. So please put your best foot forward and really take this whole process seriously. If I could recommend getting your application in earlier and making sure your recommendation letters, you're reaching out to those people early so that they can have your letter in and they can take the time to write it for you. That would be my tip. The next question, who should I reach out to if I have questions? If you know someone that is currently in the JCPenney Leadership Program, most of them can answer your questions pretty easily. If it's a question about, your application specifically, or some more technical questions, I would reach out to Malia. She is fantastic. But you can always reach out to me. I put my email at the end of this presentation, so hopefully you can contact me if you have any questions. Anyone I know that is in the program would be happy to tell you about their experience and answer any questions you might have. Next is, if I get an interview, what should I wear? Business professional, if you have a suit jacket, please wear a suit jacket. Boys wear ties. You can wear, skirts or slacks for girls, or maybe a nice dress. But wear what you have, and just try to look professional, as professional as possible. Next question. I'm a busy person. Will I have time to meet all of the requirements? So as a candidate associate, you are required to go to those 2 org meetings, and then the required events that I did talk about, as well as going to those education sessions. So it does seem like kind of a lot, but it is definitely manageable. So we have people in our program that are the heads of multiple organizations. We had the chair of Studentathon in the program multiple times. We have lots of vice chairs of different organizations, people who are really busy people in band, people in choir, people in musical theater, things like that, people who are working, but we make it work, and we're really flexible on, if you really can't because you have class or you have work or something, we'll be willing to, make things up for you and make sure that you are getting the experience that you need. So I would say, if you're too busy, if you think you're too busy and you can't make this a priority realistically, maybe it isn't the time for you to apply. But if you are really passionate about this, don't let that stop you, because if you are passionate about attending those events, then we'll make the time for you, just as you'll make the time for us. Also, when you become a full associate, we do have a points-based system where you are required to reach a certain number of points every semester by attending certain events, and some events have more points and some events have less points, but everyone typically can meet those point requirements if they plan in advance and make sure that they're being a little bit more proactive about it. So just keep moving forward and have that right mindset about it, and I think you'll be okay. And finally, I want to study abroad. Can I fit that in with the JCPenney Leadership Program? Yes, you can. I studied abroad for an entire semester last spring in Scotland, and it was an absolutely fantastic experience. I was sad that I had to leave the JCPenney Leadership Program for a semester, but I signed my leave of absence. I didn't have requirements when I was there. I did, however, interview to become the chair of the program, and here I am today. So we'd like to stay connected even when you're gone, but you can 100% study abroad. All right, so now we are going to move to our involvement panel. We have Danny and Manzi coming in to talk to you a little bit about their experiences and what JCPenney looks like for them. So here we go. All right, so this is our involvement panel. Ladies, if you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name's Danny. I am the Director of Peer Trainers for JCP.
I am Mansi Patel, and I'm the Director of Board Fellows.
Awesome. So this involvement panel is typically done in person. It's just an opportunity for us to talk about our experiences and hear from actual JCPenney associates to know a little bit more about what it would be like to be in JCPenney. So first, I'm going to ask the both of you to describe your role in JCPenney leadership, and then the role of your board that you oversee. So first, Danny, if you'd like to go.
Okay, so my role, I kind of like to think of it as a new member educator. If you kind of have one of those in one of your other organizations on campus, basically what I do is I oversee your new associate process. A lot of the new associate process comes from different sessions that are put on by the peer trainers. For example, how to build your LinkedIn, business correspondence, examining your strengths, and you'll get into a lot of those in the fall. But that's basically what I do. I kind of serve as a liaison between peer trainers and you guys as new members.
Awesome. And Manzi.
So I am the Director of Board Fellows. job is I have 14 nonprofit boards under me. So we all sit on a nonprofit, attend either the monthly or biweekly meetings, and we serve as the external leadership and represent JCPenney on our community side. And so while we do have a lot of internal components, this is a way to showcase what JCPenney has taught us and also bring back philanthropy events through our nonprofit boards. So we serve as the external link of JCPenney to our community, both Norman and Oklahoma City.
Awesome. So now I'm going to ask you, what made you decide to take on that role? Danny, you can start again.
I kind of decided because I really liked my assigned peer trainers when I was going through being a new member, and I really wanted to just expand on my own presentation skills because that wasn't something I was really comfortable with beforehand. So I knew that this role would allow me to present more and just be a leader within the organization that I just really cared for.
Awesome. And Nancy?
I love director of board fellows because it's just one of those things that where it combines both learning and philanthropy is one of our pillars, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. And so learning about nonprofits and how they operate, what you can do in the community once you're out of the phase of once you're out of school and actually in a career path, you're able to be involved in actively engaged in a nonprofit, and it's just a great way to showcase your leadership skills, and they're able to expand through your help, which is really rewarding.
Awesome. And Nancy, can you tell me a little bit about the boards that you actually sat on as a board fellow yourself?
So I am currently involved with Wheels, which is a local nonprofit in Norman. They serve meals to various community members throughout Norman. Currently, they deliver approximately 600 meals a week for senior citizens and different people who are on their list. They have a waiting list as well, so they are very known throughout Norman, and it's just one of those, the board Meals on Wheels is very special because a lot of the people that they're delivering their meals to are getting their only interaction through these Meals on Wheels people that are dropping off the meals, either leaving it or, talking with them. So if you think about it, really, Meals on Wheels isn't just a board. It's more of they're providing a connection to the outside world to people who are either in their house all day or can't leave for some reason.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, well, next question is, what is your favorite JCPenney memory or experience, and why?
My favorite memory is I got to study abroad with JCPenney and go to Costa Rica. Nancy was also on that trip. It was a lot of fun. But I really enjoyed that because before my experience abroad, I kind of felt disconnected from the program just because I didn't have I had a bunch of acquaintances, but I wouldn't say I had a bunch of best friends in the program. And that kind of really allowed me to make more lifelong friendships. And I also got to get close to our director, Bria Clark, who you guys will meet probably later on. And it just helped me really get involved with the business world, and it was just a great experience getting to see another country.
Awesome. Nancy?
So I love Costa Rica. That was really one of my highlights. But in addition, associate development is also another thing. You get to go to either lunch and learns, you have golf lessons, tennis lessons, and it's a great way to get to interact with others that you don't see in your classes on a daily basis. So I'm a senior, so I actually got to know a lot of juniors and sophomores through those. So it's just one of those things, you're building connections and you're getting to know who's in the program.
Awesome. I'm going to talk about my favorite experience myself too. I think my favorite memory I have is the very first conference I went to as a member of JCPenney. So it was during my candidate associate time, and they opened it up, if you want to, you can go go to a conference. It wasn't a requirement, didn't get any points for it. But I had an older member kind of be like, hey, like you should really go to this. So it was the Women in Business Leadership Conference. And I remember the whole time I was just in such awe of these women who were our keynote speakers. And I was taking all these notes and writing everything down. And I definitely left that conference being like, oh, I need to change everything. And like, I'm going to be so powerful and so strong. And like, yes. And, you know, probably 98% of it I didn't end up doing, but I was really invigorated and became really excited about it. And it really set my trajectory for my whole involvement in JCPenney. So that would be mine. All right. Next question. How did the application process, interview process go for you? And is there anything that you'd like to tell the prospective associates who are now currently in those shoes? Danny, you can go first.
Okay, so I actually interviewed a long time ago because I'm a senior, so it would have been when I was a sophomore. So trying to remember back on how that process looked for me. And I'm just thinking that honestly, you can never prepare enough for any interview. So make sure to just do your research on JCPenney, who we are as an organization, and just always ask a question at the end of your interview. I don't really think I knew the significance of that before I joined JCPenney, but when someone's giving up their own time to interview you, you should make sure to ask them something in return.
Awesome. Nancy?
So I was definitely afraid of Bria when I first had my interview because it was her first year. But in order to get over that fear, I got a recommendation that said, go into the office, see if you can meet with her, just get a feel for the office, ask them questions. It was a great way, like, to know what the interview setting was going to be like. So I highly recommend just go into the office, talk around to the fellows in the office, along with Malia or Bria if they're available. And that way you ease your nerves a little bit. But definitely do your research, know your pillars by heart.
Smart.
And just be yourself, because if you try to structure your interview, you can tell when you've rehearsed over and over again. But sometimes your interviews are just conversations, and once you get to the real world, they really are. I had my last interview and we didn't talk about what I did in college. It was all about my study abroad trip. That was all it was.
Yeah. I would say for me, I'll just give my own spiel myself. I heard about JCPenney on my campus tour. Like right away, I was like, okay, this is something I'm going to get involved in. And my whole freshman year, I was like waiting. And I was like, okay, like when can I apply? So then like the application opened in the spring of my freshman year, obviously. And I was like, right away, I got my application in. Then I was like, I had it done. I got my recommendation letters in the fall semester right before the application deadline. But I just remember being so excited about it, and then like really like had built up all this anticipation, and then I had all this excitement, and then I was like, oh wait, should I be nervous about this? So there was like a moment of, okay, I actually have to prepare outside of it. So I think just like having that fire lit under you a little bit is just like, get that application in, make sure you're doing it really thorough, and don't, wait till the last minute to do it, because you can tell there are associates that get to sit in on the interviews. And so I've done that before, and you can tell when someone just kind of rushes through their application. So take the time, answer the questions, like well thought out, but obviously don't put too much pressure on yourself. At the end of the day, we're just looking for great people who, exemplify our pillars, and will make the program a better place. So, yeah. Okay, this one's kind of a random question. What is your favorite type of learning event in JCPenney? So like lunch and learns, dine and learns, like conferences, things like that, and why?
I really liked Dine and Learns. I haven't had the opportunity to do a bunch of lunch and learns just because I always end up having classes during that lunch period. So I've kind of really just drifted to Dine and Learns, and I feel like those have been really beneficial to me because they almost feel like they're very professional, because you're there, you're at a dinner setting, but they're also relaxed because you're able to ask questions and it's not like someone's lecturing at you. And I feel like I've gotten a bunch of different connections from those experiences.
Cool. And Nancy?
I like our panelists. I really enjoy them, as well as lunch and learns. I've had the opportunity to sit on a couple of lunch and learns, and that has been very fun because we have the dean come in, we have different companies, and so it's just very interesting to learn what they do, how they operate, and building those connections. The panelists are really good to learn from because they are sometimes by industry, and so learning the specific industries, I was able to see like I actually enjoy accounting more than finance, and I'm more on, I can see that I enjoy the business operations side of accounting rather than just tax. So yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. I'll throw mine out there. Just I like learning new skills. I can find the time, I don't want to be lectured to. I don't want to hear anything, but we have a lot of opportunities through like workshops to learn like languages. We've done like social Spanish. We've done like Excel skills. We've done interview training, things like that. But also golf lessons. I like love to golf, but I'm like not very good at it. And then I went to one golf lesson and then was just whacking them. And obviously I'm not like a pro by any means because I had one lesson, but just the opportunity to like learn a new skill like that, break goals. So, all right. And last and final question, why should someone join JCPenney? Tell me.
You want to go, Danny?
You can go. I'm thinking on it.
Okay, so JCPenney is a whole different organization. You've got all sorts of majors, and it's the best of the best because our standards are specific GPA requirements, you have to meet certain requirements throughout the semester. So by the end of the program, you're just going to be so highly diverse that it will show on your resume. And we have 100% job placement rate, grad school rate. Like who doesn't want to be part of a program like that? So you learn a lot of new skills. And so JCPenney, the leading factor for me for JCPenney was that the opportunities that I was provided through it. Conferences, dine and learns, lunch and learns. Like there's specific events that you can only attend as a JCPenney associate that aren't open to Bryce students. So you're making these connections with industry professionals that others don't have access to. So it's a foot in the door. You're getting one-on-one help with associates, especially during peer trainers within your peer group, because your peer trainers are there to help you. I got my LinkedIn profile like solid with the help of my peer trainer. So it's the little things that make it so big. You have associates that you can lean on. You get friendships out of this, which is such a great opportunity. And if you get the opportunity to study abroad in Costa Rica, it is even better.
Yeah, so fun. All right, Danny?
Yes. Okay, so mine's kind of big on friendship. So coming into college, like my parents just kind of told me I should pick a major in business because it's probably like the most, just the smartest choice for me. So like, okay, I'll go ahead, start at Price. And I was probably in my first year and I liked the classes, but I didn't really feel like I fully fit into like the Price School of Business. And it wasn't really until I joined JCPenney that I was like, okay, this is like where I'm supposed to be. It feels like home. I'm making these friendships. And it also kind of just helped me to figure out what I wanted to major in. And it's also helped me along the lines of figuring out what industry I want to go into after graduation. And it's also just allowed me to build professional connections. It's just made life a lot easier.
Yeah.
It is a lot of work, but I mean, in the long run, it just makes your life a lot easier. You have a lot more people to talk to as far as your peers go, also just alum. But yeah, I would join for the friendships. They're lifelong and they're always going to be there.
Yeah. And I'll just tag on the end. I'm from, I don't know why I sound very Southern when I say that. I'm from Chicago. But I came to OU not knowing a single person. And honestly, coming into the Price College, like I was really driven in business, but I didn't have a network here in Oklahoma or Texas, like any of the things that I felt like other people had an advantage over me. But by joining JCPenney, I felt like I was just skyrocketed in to, you know, having all of these professional skills and people that would continue to push you. And so when I joined the program, I never thought I would, you know, one day be the chair, but people kept pushing me to like do more and take on more responsibility. And it's people like that who, you know, were going to push me into being successful for the rest of my life. And the only place I've really found them on OU's campus is in the JCPenney Leadership Program. So that's our spiel. Thank you so much, Danny and Manzi, for speaking with us and sharing some of your experiences. And with that, that is it. All right. All right, well, that was our involvement panel. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you really are excited about applying for the JCPenney Leadership Program, and we hope that you will join us soon in the fall in our new cohort. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I put my email at the bottom of this. You can also reach out to Bria or Malia, but please stop by the office in the fall if we're there, and ask any questions you might have in person as well. All right, so thank you very much. Bye.